So yes, clearly in the dispute between religion and art, and as psychiatry tackles or tries to absorb into its consume and interpretively so. So insofar as to constitute various art pieces as dangers, I can test this in principle, and I can tell you why I think it happens philosophically. Psyche, if you want to be technical about it, it is odd that you aren't getting displays to your person of all this subconscious brainwave and brain scan activity going on for these psychiatric disorders to be in actual science in the empirical sense of the term science and scientific method. Now, not only that, you have that is soul. The word soul in it's from churches. It's etymologically from the word psyche. So it's an institution about the treatment of problems said to be innate to the soul. They're hoping you'll make a lifelong commitment to them in as you might have been asked to make to a church once upon a time, and then take a particular medicine. And counseling, in fact, is dropped on the hopes that you will just go, okay, I'll take the medicine. So counseling to the point where you become informed of the details about your own profile, which obviously you would, the doctor's a sense of harm right then and there, unless they're willing to tell you. I submit, but here's what I've said. I think goes on, and this has been deleted before. At most, what they'll want to do is say that isolate and sample this piece of art, be it anything I've made or anything I listen to or watch. Sample this and let's represent that because we observed him calm down to pressing play to this show, or because he smiled and laughed at this scene, or whatever, that these lyrics to this song are morally prescriptive behavioral imperatives being connotated in relation to the premeditative opposition to the fundamental human rights on the Human Rights Act. So what I will say is I believe in rights to life, health, movement, and expression. Religion, I'd argue, does not belong on a Human Rights Act. Every religion is teaching that you are not human. So that they want in on a Human Rights Act is antithetical to even what they stand for. Now, in replace of that, someone might approach and say, well, what if my expression is my religion? And I go, well, okay. Then interesting how your this expression has actually swept up and categorized the rights to life, health, and movement, and limited the rights of expression of others, categorized the rights to life, health, and movement of a bunch of others, and that you know that you're appointed and anointed. We are the chosen perfect few, and all the rest are damned. There's room enough in hell for you. We don't want heaven crammed. And that's what art doesn't do. It doesn't insist that your basic rights are at a contest because of the access of someone else's right to expression. Now, what I think about the logistics of applied theology is that with God, like there's a time where Mother Teresa is experiencing doubt. She seeks the confidence of and insight of a superior priest or whatever, saying, I'm going through moments of doubt. And she is told, well, during these moments, know that it is like you are sharing in the experience of Calvary with Christ. That you're even closer to him now, because this was what he went through. And they would put that on Mother Teresa during her moments of doubt. And so Sam Harris's approach to and address to this is, well, when the doubts of experts are able to be flipped around and used as proof for what John Cleese would call these closed systems of thought, where any new information that's to enter a contrary point of view is never taken seriously. It's either integrated, sly attempts are made behind the back to backstab and impose a particular view on another person. So I've argued that there's incoherency in relation to the concept of creation in the mind of the religionist and the religious mental health profiler. So, in Roger and Gary Cahn's case, human language is an invention of ours, like we invented the hammer, and the description of concepts through words. And then incidentally, God is defined as a being that the five senses can never detect within the religious right. So not your sense of touch, taste, smell, sound, or sight can detect God. And yet we're gonna not even though knowing that we've created concepts and language, we're gonna nonetheless state that this being has instead created us, when we know it's a senseless, it's an against the senses concept. So because they've divided themselves against the senses. While they practice this craft, what they'll do is they'll then target the works of creative people, artists, and they'll say, yeah, because of this art piece, and they'll treat the art piece as if it were Moses on Mount Sinai reading stone tablets to slaves that he is giving instructions to. You've played My Sharona by the Knack. Ooh, you make my motor run. Okay, well look, go and the next motor you find, like, you need to start it, you need to make it run, and you need to do it while having been in a psychotic outrage so that you can be sedated. Don't ask for their permission if you can forcefully make their motor run. So they make themselves the product of essentially their own language, which is impossible because their words do not create humankind. So there subsists the division on the topic of creation in the mind of the religious profiler. And for that reason, they'll lash out against straight shooters on the topic of creation, people who are legitimate and real